Hello everybody and welcome to the secret history living inside of your aquarium. Tonight we're looking at my aquarium. I guess I've done some sprucing up since you guys have seen this tank. This is a low-tech tank. Now I do use root tabs and I do have a lot of biofiltration in the form of just filter floss basically and then substrate below. What this update is on, other than some plants, is the thing that everybody else wants to know about in this tank, and that is the cribs. So the cribs have been getting a lot more bold. The mother has been widening the area where her babies are foraging, and you can see that by when you see the ancestors and things like that are just hanging out on a log above. She'll actually come and try to move them. But she wants her babies to be able to graze out in the open down here in this rocky area and not just back in the algae area back here that I've left a little dirty. If you remember, it used to be pretty dirty for them just because that attracts little bugs and things. As you go up, we can see that I've added a few plants, moved a few things around. Oh, I see what's going on. So she is fighting off some puffers that ran into her cave while she left it. So I don't know if they were looking for babies necessarily, but they were probably just scrounging for any sort of scrap food or bloodworms or anything that she could have left untaken care of, uneaten in there. So now she's back up over here, and you'll just see her probably throughout the video. Generally being a badass chick. She's just gonna be fighting for her babies to have some territory. The male has been taking care of the babies just as hard. He's actually with them non-stop up until this point, and so now he's probably got to go put on some weight and also just get a little bit healthier because he's got those wounds to his back, which are all healed, but they still have some scars on his spine near his dorsal fin. He's actually hanging out up in the grass back here, and he's pretty skinny right now, and that's because he's foregone food. I've watched them. It's the first time I've actually seen the couple as a team. First time I've seen them actually take food in their mouth and bring it back into the cave and just spit it out into the water. And it's almost like masticating for like a baby bird or something, where you chew the food but don't swallow it. I was not aware that they did that for their young, and maybe some other crib keeper has witnessed this, but I'm curious if this is because it's a hybrid of a Pulcher and Tinniatus, formerly known as Tinniatus, but I guess it would be a Bapindi variety, something along those lines, the female, and the male being just a normal Kribensis Pulcher. Now you can also see that the female has a lot less, well, maybe you can, but she has a lot less purple on her belly than she did. It's definitely not red like it was on a Nigerian red Bapindi variant, but that has also come off on the male as well. So when they spawn, they both in unison get really bright in that way. Here comes the male again. And you can see his belly's not pink anymore, but his orange is pretty prominent. And he's got a little bit of what I would call purple and turquoise on his belly, depending on the section. Also, the ancestress up above is just a beautiful yellow. One of the babies just turned out incredible out of this brood, and he happens to be the one growing the fastest. And so I'm just really happy that at least without the parents around anymore, after they passed away from that terrible bacterial infection that wiped them out, at least there's some babies that are doing okay, and that one in particular is just doing phenomenal. So there's a few ancestors you may see throughout this video. Also, we got puffers, and everyone asks about the puffers, and so there's puffers in here right now in the maze of the grass. Now, when I added new puffers, I was hoping that they would establish their home back over there, but for a while they were trying to take over the cave, and I didn't want that at all, because we've got the leopard Danya's taking up the upper water with the Endlers, which are kind of a non-entity. And then we've got a few little puffers that stray all over the place. But basically, I wanted this tank to be a safe zone for each intense and or nippy fish. I wanted them to have their kind of area where they hang out and don't bug the other ones as much. So when I saw Scotty from Scottish Aquatics the other day and toured his place, I thought I'd just point out the new plants that I didn't have in here already. We've got Bulbitis hedulata up here. Now it had some blackbeard algae on it, and so I'm really hoping that my algae eating fish will maybe take a look at that. But the Siamese algae eater seems to wait for better food now. He's kind of spoiled because there hasn't been a ton of algae in this tank that is the kind that he eats anyways. There's this really rough stringy kind that is only in this tank out of all my tanks, but that seems to be one he won't touch. Also, you can see another ancestress. This is the longfin albino fry. Some of them are left growing out, and then the one you probably can't see at all because it blends in perfectly is the green pleco here. It looks to be a female with a big broad teardrop head, but yeah, you guys probably can't even see that on that dark background. What else is in here that I haven't mentioned and that I should mention because everybody always asks about these plants? Well, I figured that I will mention the fact that we've got polysperma right in here. That's one that a lot of people ask about. It is illegal in a lot of states. Some states you can have it or you can collect it if it's already invasive and in the wild, so to speak. And it's just different rules for different states, so be careful on that one. It's totally illegal in other states, even if you didn't buy it and you just got it from a friend. And then in our state, it's basically you can have it, but you can't buy, sell, or transport it. So technically, it would have been illegal if I had been the person who brought it here, but another person did, and now it just can't go anywhere else alive. So kind of a weird legal term, but that's how it works out here. So also we've got Ludwigia pontana. We've got that's some of the bushy beautiful ones that you see with the orange and peach caps on them. We've got Alterna renicii, which is the big red one where you can see the puffers are hanging out near that. That contrast is just phenomenal. It's really fun to see that going on, in my opinion. It just looks like beautiful, especially since I planted it at an angle. So hopefully, even though it'll correct for sunlight, hopefully it grows back towards the light. And then that will allow the top to stay more of a color that is this bronzy brown pink, and the underside to still show off at its, magenta majesty. So other than that, we also have some crypts that I moved from the back and moved them here. They're kind of cool. They've got like some paddle leaves and some normal shaped leaves. And we've got a bunch of guppy females down here that, or endlers I should say. There's only one guppy actually in this tank, and it is a female at this moment. Other than that, we've got bulbs that I planted. The Aponogeton, which is the Madagascar lace plant. It looks like lace. It's got a bunch of holes in it, and it's a really pretty plant. Kind of a Dr. Seussy, out of this world looking plant, but it can be a little tricky with algae in that in between each leaf there's potential for algae. Same with the Rotalas. There's different Rotalas, but since this is low tech, this is Vietnamese sunrise or sunset, one of those things, I don't remember. And then the Vietnamese pink is back up there growing really tall, but it's not doing its full color thing. So sometimes it's not worth spending the money on Rotala if you don't have the CO2. So other than that, we also have a short bulbitis, which is a shorter cut of, or a shorter type of the same plant, just a morph of the plant, as we call it. There's the one female guppy that's actually a guppy. She's from Dean Tweedle, the master breeder, if you watch Aquarium Co-op and have seen his room. Same stock as his, and also Chase has some of those platinum firetail guppies. But other than that, the cribs are trying to bring their babies out. They were out here grazing earlier today. Let me color correct that real quick. And here she comes now, chasing away the Endlers. They're starting to lose some of that some of that pink and purple that they have on their bellies, like I said earlier. And that is because they're not paired off for spawning anymore. Now they're just bulking back up, getting healthy again. And when I start to see those colors return in full force on them, on her belly, and specifically his more so, then I'll know they're ready to spawn. A lot of times I notice that the females, being that they're small, they're in captivity, and I can feed them quickly, they can bulk up and be ready for more babies pretty quickly, but the male also has to do so, and he's a little more fidgety about what he wants to eat, I've noticed. So same layout as always, where we've got the big tall rock here, but all in it is actually a rock pile. So we've got caves and crevices and things like that for all the animals to be swimming into and out of. And there's actually 3 sections of cave in here, as well as a ledge right here. So other than the Ludwigia pantanal, I also came across some saffron bacopa, red bacopa. What else did we get from Scott over at Scottish Aquatics? We also got, well, not long ago, I got this from another source, but I got some Thor's hammer, Java fern, not Java moss, and then also some corkscrew val. And this stuff is known as red corkscrew val. It can, under a ton of light and CO2, it can turn kind of this red color, and it does when it dies, but it's just not going to do that in this low-tech tank. This tank has 2 spotlights for garage doors on it, but it doesn't have an actual fish tank light. I just haven't had the money to spend on that. But if you'd like to see this tank at its full potential, I'm definitely thinking about taking some of the money that we raise on Super Chats and Patreon and putting it towards doing a new display to show off some interesting stuff as it comes along, maybe showing some new techniques in the high-tech realm, because this is the tallest tank that I have at the moment. Other than that, we really just have some interesting Crinum calamestrana. We also have some really teeny plecos, if you can see them. Those are the same age. Those baby plecos there, the little white ones, are the same age. They're from the same litter as the other ones, but they just haven't grown as fast. So kind of odd. Oh, and then we have Limnophilia bellum in there that's doing well, but no CO2 yet again. So I gotta wait for these bushy plants to get kind of tall, and then I'll clip the tops, and then I'll throw those into the high CO2 tanks and hopefully get this same explosion of color. But I'll be losing that color. I'll probably, the most you could hope for is probably something along this line up here, or something in here without that. And then I also have a broadleaf stellatus growing back under here. Hi, Mama Crib. Mama Crib is very protective, and her babies are coming out to graze as we speak. They're sick of just hanging out in the seaweed, and so I'm happy to see Mother bringing her babies out. And Father seems to be, they're not working as a pair as much. Just today I've noticed the change, but a lot of times once that change occurs, it's over. They're back to the guy hanging out, hiding in his burrow, and the female out and about, and I'll fatten her up again, and then they can rinse and repeat, so to speak. So those are the baby cribs back there. You can see now they're spotted and speckled, so they match the rocks. I've seen them also look totally striped, and then I've seen them look clear. So they must have kind of an active camouflage built into their DNA where they can decide what works best for the terrain. So other than that, we've also got a type of Nymphea. I think it's Saturna, and that just grew out of the rocks. I didn't even know that it could because I took the bulb out and put it in another tank. So that's cool that one of the runners stayed alive, and I've still got this from Bentley Pasco. So that's another fun relic in the tank. And then these are all just Rotalas that have been growing in the tank for quite a while now, as well as some Bacopas. And let's see, what else do we have here? We've just got some Anubias gold coin and some Anubias Petite Nana, and then some Bucephalandra, and I think you say it Homolomena Sedeca South, and that is growing right in there. I got that from H2O plants.com maybe a year ago now. So it's still alive and kicking, and it's doubled its mass in a year, so it's slow grower. But yeah, so that's kind of the update on the tank. Everything is looking pretty good right now, and so I thought I'd share some of that with you guys. I'm going to leave some of this area down here open just because I think it looks nice and it leaves room for the fish. And I think we'll clear out some more guppy fry from here, or Endler. I keep calling them guppies because some of them have a little bit of guppy blood in them, I'm assuming. And I might get rid of these big Danios, even though they do keep the other nippy fish in check. But the plecos are going to start putting out more bio load as they get older. And I'll have to decide if they're going into other tanks or selling them. But I like to keep 6 or 7 of each color type if I have that many. So I'll probably see which ones I have that many of each color and go from there. Other than that, I think what we'll be adding is the option of replacing the Danios would to be, see there, you just saw a tiny, teeny baby pufferfish attack a Danio. But I was thinking about putting gouramis in here, and that may be pushing it a bridge too far. Probably is. But I might try it out just for a day and watch for the first few hours, hang out nearby and see what happens. I suspect that the puffers would tear at their fins and the cribs would also just annihilate them. So that probably won't work, but I would really love it if it did. So the more realistic option is probably going to bring some more really pretty blue fish in of some sort, whether that be neon blue or green, little tetras, neon tetras, or perhaps even something like rasboras, I guess blue rasboras, green rasboras, or lastly, we could do something maybe even a little bit bigger that's mid-water or top-water, such as like a hatchet fish or an angel if we had a defensive enough sturdy angel trio or something like that. It's all pushing the envelope, but that's kind of what this tank is about, seeing what I can get away with low-tech wise with high-tech plants, and violence wise with violent and peaceful fish together. And I keep a close eye on it and look for injuries, because just like anyone else who cares about their pets, I don't want mine to be hurting each other or getting hurt. So but I do like showing people what's possible when you provide them the proper habitat, and things like maybe you don't clean up the little moss pile in the corner, or maybe you just need more hiding spots and more caves and more sticks and flow in one side that splits kind of the dynamic of which way which fish swims. I know the cribs aren't one to like flowing water a ton. They like kind of standing pools of water off to the side of a stream. And so if I have a power head going one way across, they're probably going to stay out of the flow, whereas the Danios are going to be up in that flow, all about it, taking control, and as will the plecos and things like that. So, all right, you guys, I got to wrap this up. I hope you enjoy taking a look at this low-tech, high-tech, low-tech, I guess, because I got the root tabs. I don't dose it too much with fertilizer, but when I do with the liquid ferts, I did use Easy Green long time ago, and now I'm using the ADA. No nitrogen in this, so that I can still heavy load my my fish food like that. They create enough of the nitrates and ammonia in their diet, so this allows me to just add basically the macro and micro minerals that they need. But other than that, if you'd like to see where this tank goes and what's new, those kind of things, help me get a better lens and some better color, like see the colors true to life, I would really appreciate if anybody has enjoyed this school of fish and wants to put this school through college and become a Patreon backer. So enjoy your night or day whenever you're watching this. I'll be out with another video soon. Please like and subscribe. If you got this far, you know you're into it. You're hooked. So reel it on in. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.